It's like a whole continent, accessible within one day. The spirit of being close to an earthquake, close to a volcanic eruption or hot springs, shapes the character. It's an awakening. People kind of develop here in many ways. They try things that they never dared try any time before, because you can sense the freedom, and you can sense the stresslessness.
We thought, why not Iceland? Sounds amazing. This is perfect. This is a 4-day trip. Hopefully we'll get to see a lot.
We were afraid of the weather at first. Found out there was plenty of outdoor activities which we really enjoyed.
You know, they say it's a land of fire and ice, and it's absolutely true. The volcanoes, and it's a lot warmer. I mean, today, I'm in flip-flops today.
People with Scandinavian roots and from the US, they are surprised at themselves of not having thought about Iceland before in their lives.
Iceland is indeed an overlooked gem. In some ways, this is understandable. You see, the name Iceland is actually a result of an early public relations stunt.
Some Vikings wanted to keep Iceland to themselves because it was kind of getting populated in the 10th century. So they said, oh, look over there, it's Greenland, wonderful, go over there. But Greenland is, of course, just ice.
Despite its name, they couldn't keep Iceland to themselves. Scandinavians have always been drawn to this island of such contrasting natural beauty. Volcanic activity is commonplace here, most recently in March of 2010 when the Eyjafjallajökull volcano erupted. 500 families fled their homes, and the resulting ash cloud was so massive it literally ground flights to and from Europe to a halt for 8 days. Though not nearly as destructive or deadly as past eruptions on the island, it reminded all of the potential and renewed fears that the nearby Katla volcano might again stir as it did back in 1918. With over 30 active volcanoes and eruptions every 2 to 3 years, this is something Icelanders have learned to cope with. The abundant geothermal energy has also fueled many hot springs and progress as well.
The water we have here in this area, I say always, that's our oil, but cleaner and cheaper.
Geothermal and hydropower provide all of Iceland's electricity and 80% of its total energy. The most important geothermal byproduct for this culture, however, seems to be the swimming pool.
It's same as we have to have school, we have to have a supermarket, and we have to have pool. That's what people are just requesting for. Nowadays, we always build pools with both the possibility indoor and outdoor. In every pool, they have group. Early morning group, then we have group 8 o'clock, we have group lunch group, we have afternoon group.
Every morning. I started here from about 30 years ago, and now we are about 30 to 40 every morning, yeah.
All over Iceland, groups of friends like this voluntarily meet every day. They swim, exercise, and relax in hot tubs, or hot pots as they're known here. But most important, they socialize, as this ritual has been central to their culture for decades.
So if people didn't show up, either they were really sick in the hospital, and they were trying to keep them alive, or they had passed away. That's just a fact.
We couldn't help but ask why they prefer outdoor pools, even in the winter.
The swimming pool in winter is very hot. In the summer, it's the same.
The fact is, this is an extremely healthy population, and they found that their geothermal water even has healing properties. This sprawling complex is the Blue Lagoon. This massive geothermal spa is known the world over for its rich geothermal seawater, which is also a key component in their lines of skincare and wellness products. The geothermal water is cooled for the lagoon, which in turn provides electrical power to the park. Whether or not you're in need of the therapeutic benefits, this 6 million liter playground is a must-see destination around Reykjavik. And as hot as the water is, the nightlife in Reykjavik sizzles.
The streets are more packed during the night than it is during the day.
With over 150 pubs, this city sports a vibrant mix of entertainment venues. The eclectic cuisine offers a wide palette to suit the tastes of adventurous tourists. This group is on a tour coordinated by members of several affinity clubs, one of which is the Cooking Club of America. They didn't have to look far to find strange new delicacies here. The Iceland Open Experience invited these groups to seek out new adventures over 4 days in Iceland. We'll have a little fun in the mud when we come back, and then follow members of the Partners Golf Club to one unusual golf course as we discover Iceland, land of fire and ice. Iceland presents a world of contrasts. Glaciers and volcanoes, wilderness and culture, steam and ice. From this rugged terrain, memories are forged as the Iceland Open Experience suits up to explore the island by machine.
We're driving one single line, there's no overtaking, no zigzag on the steering, no off-road driving, no fully studs.
Hi, I'm Greg Huff from North American Media Group on the Iceland Open Experience. We're driving Polaris ATVs. These Polaris ATVs are all automatic, and so far are handling all that Iceland can throw at us. Certainly giving them a good workout in these conditions. When Iceland throws you a cold and rainy day, don't just sit glumly on a tour bus, get right out in it. An ATV ride is just a thing.
My favorite thing was the ATVs. The weather that day was horrendous, but I don't think it would have been nearly as fun on the ATVs if you weren't riding through puddles of mud.
Iceland has this pioneerish feeling, and in one day you can experience the elements, the heat, the cold, rafting, ATV. You can do it all in one day.
Not to mention golf. Icelandic golf courses offer distinct challenges unique to the terrain.
It's kind of exciting to be able to play on a course like this. Coming here is just kind of awesome. To see an island out in the middle of the ocean that's supported by volcanic material, and to see such lush grasslands and golf courses that are made on top of this volcanic formation.
This is fantastic. I've never played a golf course like this.
Okay. Little left. Little right. That's a nice little ridge there, isn't it? Is that you or is that you? Oh, I got that close? Yes. Oh my goodness. I thought it went back here. Here the challenge is to stay out of the volcanic rough. This came up as a part of the golf organization that I belong to, and I thought this is a wonderful opportunity. Get in there. Oh!
Now, Frederick, if I understood this correctly, this is a lava flow cave. This is formed by the lava that's coming down through the hillside?
Yeah, they called it, geologically, it's called lava tubes.
Okay.
Ancient lava flows can leave behind some rather intriguing landscape.
The ceiling has caved in, So this would have been a longer tube. You see the splattering on the wall here?
Yes.
That's the lava splatter. This particular cave has been named the Holy Mary's Cave because there was services held here during the Catholic times. They didn't have a lot of churches, so they would worship in caves like these. They have been inhabited by the people we don't see, which are the elves, the trolls, the ghosts, which figure so strongly in Icelandic history. And wherever you turn, whomever you talk to, whatever you read of Icelandic history, there's always a troll around somewhere or a ghost story. So we say that don't touch this rock, don't put a highway there, because that's where the elves live, and the elves are positive. They have a positive influence on us, and that's basically what it's about, is to respect nature, and by respecting nature, you respect yourself and the environment.
When we come back, we'll sample some world-class salmon fishing. And stand clear, we'll go geyser watching as we continue our tour of Iceland, a land of fire and ice. Iceland is uniquely situated at the intersection of tectonic plates. This means it's a geological hotspot. Given this, geysers are a popular attraction here. In fact, this one is called Geyser, which coined the actual name. This one in particular is also very well known. Stokor erupts every 4 to 8 minutes, giving sightseers plenty of photo opportunities.
We have always lived with these hot springs, and close to where we are standing is one of 5 geothermal power plants producing electricity out of steam, the pressure, the heat of the geothermal, clean energy. That's like 30% of the production in the country. 70% of the electric energy production is through waterfalls. That's also clean energy production. But this has not always been like this. In the 30s, Reykjavik was one of the most polluted capitals in the entire universe because they heated the houses with turf and coal and peat and wood. But then they started doing this geothermal, and it's now one of the cleanest capitals in the world.
Another benefit of this clean energy is pristine waters for fishing.
During the middle of the day, you'll find them just a couple of yards from the bank. Once the sun gets down, they're going to come even closer to the bank. You're gonna practically step on them in the evening. All streams in Iceland are privately owned. There's no such thing as a public stream. So in general, you have to purchase a license for every river you're going to. This is a river that'll suit pretty much any angler. For the novice or the beginner, this is a river that's full of fish. So you're always going to have a good chance of catching something. But there are several pools here that require and demand some level of expertise. The biggest surprise people have is the clear waters, the clean air, and the volume of salmon. The one thing the double hand will always have as an advantage to the single hand is how much control you have over the drift. And with a longer tip, you can control the flow much better than you can with a 9-footed single-handed rod. On a bright day, you use bright flies. On a dark day, you use dark flies. So I'm going to see if I have something bright here. This is a variation of a sunray shadow. It's called a bismo.
And tell me a little bit. Is this a deer hair or is that a wool? What is that?
This this is probably from an Arctic fox, an Arctic runner.
Okay.
This is generally tied from goat hair or horse hair sometimes.
Okay. Let me see you catch one. Is it only salmon in this river?
There are a few trout, sea-run trout.
As the head of the North American Fishing Club, Steve Panaz is no stranger to salmon fishing, but he was an eager student in learning the specifics of the Icelandic bite.
See how it gets a little deeper here?
Yeah.
Salmon typically lie on the edge of banks like this. Where you would find the salmon would be where the main current is just about to die out. They're usually further down. You can see where it becomes a little bit smoother down there before it picks up again. That's where you'll find the salmon typically, most of it.
Right in here.
Yeah. We fish the current halfway down, just let it drift a couple yards out of the current.
And how far out should I be throwing it?
Try to cast the fly a little bit over the current. Don't cast upstream, just directly here,
and then
90 degrees.
Bend it down like this?
Yeah.
Do I have enough line out?
Yeah, that's enough.
You said the strikes usually come at about this point?
Yeah, around that point.
Fish! Woo, look at that.
All right.
This is so exciting to catch.
Yeah.
I mean, what an amazing fish.
Guess we're gonna have to try and beach it here somewhere. Let's keep it on for a while though.
I want to see it.
Because the banks are pretty far off.
Yep.
And we don't have a net. So we're just gonna try and
beach
semi-beach him here in the shallows, and I'll go and tail him.
Tell you what, why don't you sneak downstream and I'll just
Yeah.
try and work him. I don't want to go any shorter on this rod.
No, that's good. Bring it up to me a little bit.
Let me shorten up the line a little bit.
Yeah. It's gonna turn. It's gonna turn. It's gonna turn. No.
Oh, come on. Here. Nice, nice. Oh, beautiful.
It's a cockfish.
That is gorgeous.
4.5, 5 pounds. This is maybe half a pound short of average.
And do most people keep the fish they catch, or are these catch and release?
I keep some of them because these are actually a delicacy once they've been smoked or cured.
Yes.
But ordinarily people release, I would say, about 50, 60% of the salmon.
I tell you what, I'm gonna leave it up to you. This would be my gift to you if you'd like to have it. If not, we can release it.
Nah, I got enough salmon.
Okay.
Well, thanks anyway.
Let's let them go.
Coming up, we'll look at international politics and Iceland's role on the world stage when Iceland, land of fire and ice, continues. Iceland is one of those places most of us probably haven't thought about much. The Iceland Open Experience looked to remedy that with a 4-day all-inclusive tour of the island and all its culture.
It was amazing. There was a lot to do, from ATV riding to exploring the sites. The beaches are beautiful.
The sky seems never ending because there isn't a lot of man-made stuff. So I feel like you can just see on forever. Iceland is a natural beauty. It's not behind glass and you're not paying to get in. You know, you can just go and explore it and touch it and smell it and feel it.
Tourism will become the major industry here. It's number 3 now, along with water export for the next century. That's what I believe.
Water is certainly central to this culture and breathtaking in its presentation here.
The amount of water that comes off those falls is spectacular, like nothing else we've ever seen.
The Reykjavik summit between Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev captured the world's attention in 1986.
This is actually the meeting room where Gorbachev and Reagan sat together with their 2 interpreters. People say it led up to the fall of the Berlin Wall and the demise of communism, and this meeting kind of put the dot on the happenings. We had 2,700 people here, the press.
Luckily for Iceland, the summit wasn't the only story told.
They're not only covering the summit, they're out doing stories, you know, because their networks, they wanted to do stories and feed stories back about anything. It meant a lot. We are grateful for it.
This machine gun nest actually has an interesting place in American history. During the Second World War, the U.S. had forces here in Reykjavik, and 2 of those soldiers were Don Regan, who was Chief of Staff for Ronald Reagan back in his administration, and George Shultz, Secretary of State back then. Now in 1986, when Reagan and Gorbachev met here in Reykjavik, the two men came back to this very spot to relive memories from their war days.
I would absolutely come back. The weather, since you never know what it's going to be like, every time I'm sure it'd be a different experience.
Just so many sights to see, and you think you're going to sleep on the bus, but you don't want to close your eyes.
I was just like so astounded by the colors and how different it is. The landscape is sort of flat in some places and really mountainous in other places. You have the glaciers and volcanoes.
I say like a famous artist, his name was Asmund Svensson, the cupola, you may see in the Cupola Museum. Many people came and wanted to buy all his statues and transport them to a foreign country. He said, let the world come here. So, let the world come here and enjoy my country.